Oh, this area typically very stormy in the springtime, especially it seems, and you can see some of the damage from the storms in the past in the form of these landslides along the river and on the ridge. You'll see them off the left side as well. These little chuffs in the terrain are quite common, especially right after hard driving rain. This area, probably the most significant storm we've had in the recent history, was May of 2018. We had a series of very powerful rainstorms that blasted through the island, and this area especially got hammered. So much so that the rainfall set a new world record. In 24 hours, nearly 49 inches falling. That's a lot of rain in 24 hours. That's like standing under the waterfall. But it did cause some issues. Washed out the road over here, Kuhil Highway, and it was closed to the general public for over a year. And so those beaches, tunnels, KA, the community of Hyanna were all cut off entirely for over almost 2 weeks, and then restored, but on a limited basis, and only to them. The general public was not allowed to go out there. Coming up on Mount Namalakama now, off our right front. The three mountains around us, left side is Hihiamanu, and then Mamalahoa and Namalakama, and they're quite prominent as a backdrop to the community of Hanalei, and quite beautiful. What makes the community and Bay Area there so beautiful. This waterfall is viewable from Hanalei for the most part. You can see there are some scattered clouds around the upper midsection of the mountain, which does obscure this waterfall a little bit. But we'll do a turn here nonetheless. This is one of the taller continuous waterfalls on the island at 2,300 feet. We're going to cross over the ridge and we'll turn away from the north shore. We'll turn back towards the south. Back towards roughly the center of the island. The valley in front of us is called Hanalei Valley, and the river by the same name. So this is the same river that empties into Hanalei Bay, right there at Black Pot Beach. Now this is all public land. However, it's never been developed for public use. And so there are no roads or trails into this portion of the island, the valley. So most folks don't even see this part of the island unless you're on an air tour. That's it. Now we're going to proceed all the way to the back of the valley, to the ridge. But you can see how the river goes up and then it hooks to the right behind this ridge off our right side, and it comes down off of the north-facing side of this mountain you see off our right front. This is called Mount Waialeale. So this is now roughly the center of the island. It's also the highest point up there on top at 5,243 feet, oftentimes described up there as the wettest spot on Earth. That's where they get that 400 plus inches up there. It's an old extinct volcano, so what we're going to, or what's left of it, what we're going to do is cross over the ridge in front of us, and we'll approach the mountain from the northeast side, and that is so we can access the crater, the old extinct volcanic crater called Waialeale. You can see as we exit the crater, the two arms that come down on either side kind of wrap around us. This does form the shape of an old caldera. Now, this mountain has been shaped over time, thousands of years, the island being 5.1 million years old, and then most of the volcanic activity occurring the first 1.5 million years. So this island's been extinct for quite some time. The trees you see growing up the side of the ridge, you'll also notice them on the left-hand side as well. They look like broccoli with a flat top. These are called African albizia trees, and you'll find them throughout South Africa and other places around the world, the Pacific Rim. These trees specifically imported from Malaysia. They were brought here about 100 years ago by the sugar industry. And they were seeded in various spots on the periphery of the island mostly, where the sugarcane fields were, and now have encroached well into the interior of the island and are considered invasive. The issue with the tree is they grow very, very fast. They're very hardy. They grow about 6 times faster than the average tree, and they're also very self-propagating. And so these trees are considered invasive by the state of Hawaii. They are trying to diminish the numbers through cutting them in various places, and you can see an example of that off our right front. Now, they don't waste the wood. They use it for biofuels. and they replant, usually with this stuff here. This is eucalyptus. That's if the property has been designated to support the biomass industry. Otherwise, they replant with native trees and plants. Approaching Twin Lakes, just off front of the aircraft. There's actually two. The other one on the right is a little hard to see. This one was where they built the big movie set for filming the movie Jungle Cruise. That was 3 years ago. That was where they built the village. South Fork of the Wailua, off our left side, the Sleeping Giant on the top 5 hikes for the island. 2 routes. You've got the east route and the west route. West route's on the mountainside. That's the one I recommend. I've been on both several times. They both meet at the base of that haystack, that hump you see on the top. There is another trail that goes up to the very top. It's called the Goat Trail. That one's a little more technical. You gotta look at that and decide whether you want to do it or not. Off our right side, Tesla Solar Farm. That was built there about 4 years ago. That one charges batteries during the day, and the electricity gets distributed at night. Alrighty, folks, we are getting close to the airport. We're going to be landing in just a couple of minutes, and I do want to thank everybody for flying with me today. Once again, my name is Mark, and I hope you enjoyed the tour. I have turned off the microphones as we've entered the controlled airspace for Lihue, and so we'll be landing in just a couple of minutes here. Alright, we're down. Let's roll the throttle down. Microphone's back on.
you for flying us around, Mark.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. My pleasure. How'd everybody do? Okay? No nauseousness, right? Okay, good.